Hey everyone, welcome to the last part of the final part of the Dalton series. I just want to review a little bit of what I did in the last few parts, or the last parts is I took blocky chunks of Burlington and tried to make tools out of them, not just projectile points. And you know, I don't know, one of the main reasons I guess in doing that is to show one how to, I guess, make the tool, or at least in my opinion how I think it was made based off observations. And well, I don't know, it's to, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's lots more tools, I think, that you need more than projectile points. You'd need a projectile point at minimum 1 to kill a deer that, I don't know what will feed, I don't know, 20 people in a day. I have no idea, I'm just guessing. But those 20 people also need shelter. They need clothing, they need rope and baskets, so they do a lot of weaving. And every one of those things that they do to live their normal day life, they need tools for. So they need lots more tools than they do projectile points. So I took the tools that I made from the last video, and for the sake of time, I just showed concept during the video, and then afterwards I did some more refinement on them. I did a little bit on this one just to remove the burrs along the working end, any part that might come in contact with the hide. I've scraped a lot of hides with both of these, stone and steel. I started out with steel. These work really well if there's no burrs, and it's really sharp right there. Let's see, this one I didn't do any refinement to. I didn't need any. Did it all on the last video. Let's see, what was it next? I don't remember. But the chisel, I did some more refinement to the bevel back here. It wasn't flat. There was like a high spot on each side, so I did some more work from the bit end, pressure flaking. I sharpened my pressure flaker so I could be more accurate, and cleaned up the bevel, made the bevel nice and flat, pristine. That way it doesn't get in the way when you're cutting wood, chiseling into wood. This one, it's sharp and it's a shallow bevel, so I would use it for like chiseling into wood and not bone or antler. Same thing. Bone and antler are the same thing. I ground the end real heavy on a piece of sandstone, and because that way you can hit it with anything. You can hit it with a piece of antler, not anything, but you can hit it with antler or piece of wood mallet, right? Or like in this case, the drill, I made this to where it would fit into a socket, like the leg of a deer, the bone. It's hollow on the inside, or wood as well. But if you put a little socket on it, then it might make it easier to hold on to. It's more compact. This might be more of a Clovis style drill than a Dalton drill. I'm not sure. It seems like all the ones the Dalton stuff that I've seen that I thought could have been used for drills had a base on them, more like a Dalton. So anyway, I ground the end of that real heavy as well. But you could use a socket on the chisel as well, even though I made it really for kind of handheld. Might be too small for that too, actually. Maybe not, but could modify it. A lot of the holes that they drill were tapered, Oh, I'm going to explain that. The reason they were tapered instead of the same diameter all the way across, if it's the same diameter, it doesn't do any cutting after it gets to the, never mind. I don't know if that's really true. I don't want to talk about it yet. This gouge, I did some more refinement on it. I don't know if you could see the, probably not, the flaking on the bit end is real fine. It's rounded. This is too short to use. It's just a concept as well for the material I had, but this could be fit into a socket, a bone socket, like a leg of a deer. I ground it up to, I guess maybe halfway, something like that. And then you hang on to the socket and use it, just hammer it. So this might not be too short if you fit it in a socket. I ground the end real heavy on a piece of sandstone. I also made this Dalton. This is how I think a lot of the smaller Daltons were made, not from preforms, but from spalls. Go back into my last video at the end. I show how I made this. A lot of Daltons, as you know, aren't pretty. Many of them are crude, and if I can get this right, I'm gonna hopefully demonstrate that. But this is just a concept to show, because I didn't have enough length to make the whole thing. But hopefully I get to show that in this video as well. It's more efficient, it's quick, there's less waste, it gets the job done when you need it done fast. So I must have, as soon as I started recording earlier, I must have hit it again and stopped it. So I went through a lot of the rock already. I'll just talk about it a little bit. Knocked off a spall and just hammerstoned around it to make, thought it had a great shape for a handheld scraper. And then this one was an early spall as well. There was about an inch thick of cortex on one side of the blocky part, and you could, two ways you could work it. One, you could try to knock off the cortex, or you could work it unifacially. And I've seen like discards in the creek where it looks like they did that, where they worked them unifacially up to a cortex where it's junk and then threw the rest away. I decided to go ahead and remove the cortex because I thought I saw a way to get to it without wasting a lot of material. This is one that I removed, and it is, I just wanted to show that it's very, very thin cortex, or I'm sorry, good rock. There's where the cortex starts there. If I flip it over, you can see it. You know, it goes from there all the way to there. So it's mostly cortex and a very thin layer of good rock. I've seen these in the creek as well, where it's not been worked. So it wasn't a block unifacially worked down to this. This was a spall. Now, I debate whether the creek did it. It looked like a lot of work had been done on the sharpened edge of some I seen, but the creek kind of beats them up a little bit too, so it kind of makes it hard to tell. But there's, from here to there is some good usable material, and the cortex is from, you know, my hand is covering the cortex, so there's plenty here to use. I knocked off just a nice triangular tool flake with curvature, so a good end scraper type, side scraper type as well. I knocked off a couple of adds, spalls, man, maybe not this one that ended up, I was trying to get that hump off, and I was hoping there'd be enough thickness, but I also, you didn't see the rest of it, but I was trying to blend it into other parts of the material, so it was kind of hopeful. But yeah, I don't really know what I'd use that for, but this one, I could for sure make a small adds out of it. It's got a nice flat part right in there, and you work up to it. And the rock, it had some cracks in it too, so I tried to get rid of that stuff first. And I ended up with, this is something I want to make a chisel out of. I was working this end of it, and kind of triangular, and was going down. There's a lot of mass right here hanging off, and I would just continue to work that down, but there's still a lot of mass left on this, so I kind of isolated a little bit and prepared a platform here and then set it down for work. I was going to knock something off of there, and so I'll still do that. I'm going to set it down. And this one, I want to hopefully knock off some small Daltons from here, but this is where I noticed the video had stopped. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say, this piece of antler, also gifted to me by a friend, is I'm gonna make a pressure flaker out of it, at least one, maybe two. We'll see if it's solid. It's, you know, it's pithy right there, obviously, but I'm not gonna saw it. I'm gonna make a chisel that I want to get the work done, and I want to get it done quick. I think that's the way they would have done it. I want to make a chisel out of one of these tools here today that's going to chop this in half, and I might show it as a bonus video. Okay, let's get started on this. I'm going to try to knock off. I'm trying to prepare so that I can get some small spalls, flakes, that I can use to make Daltons. I've done this a bunch of times. My buddy has used to chip with me. He's seen me do it a lot, and or at least I'm pretty sure he was there. Yeah, we talked about it. And when you just think of it randomly out on the creek that you're gonna do it, I don't know, you're in the zone, everything falls into place. And here, when I'm on camera, I always feel like I'm in a hurry, and that's unfortunate. And when I get to the Clovis videos, I'm definitely gonna slow down. I don't know another way to say it, but I just have to. All right, I'm gonna knock a corner off. Angle ain't quite right to get good stuff yet. It's hitting in the right spot. Yeah. That couldn't have been better. Cleaning up afterwards there. I'm trying to be more accurate. This too, I have to blend into this to get flakes like this. Or I have to blend into this and get flakes like this so that I can take the Dalton flakes. So these won't be Dalton flakes yet. Okay. Great tool flake. So as I'm preparing to take the Daltons, no matter what, every primary flake should end up as a tool. The challenge for me is I don't know what tools to make, right? I'm trying to make certain tools, and I'm taking flakes that will make tools, but when that Dalton flint knapper had this rock in his hand, and he already had a list of things he needed to make or whatever, he's like, okay, I need to get certain things out of this, and that's what I have to make out of it. He didn't just arbitrarily take flakes wherever he could and then turn those into tools that he may or may not need. If you only need 10 scrapers and you got 1,000, I mean, aren't you like, oh, it seems a little wasteful. Got to do more work. All right, angle changes right here, so this will come off a little steeper, which is good, but it's still blending, won't be a Dalton flake. As a young lad and his mom walking by, and he was quite interested in the sound. Isn't everyone, it seems. Alright, I'm gonna take some stuff here. I'm setting it on my leg just because I need to be more accurate. Ooh, that split. That means I hit it too hard. Huh. I got a double flake too, and that may have been why as well. That'll still make a great tool flake. Yeah, it's not as good. Okay. Really sucks that I stopped that video. Oh, must have been 20 minutes worth or something. Just don't seem right. That's too shallow. If it's yeah. Okay. Let's take one right here. Try to make it wide so we can get a few flakes, hopefully, or a couple or something, not just one. Yep, it didn't go quite deep enough to get really. Yeah, let's try to work with that. When you have the right setup, like I'm doing way more work here than I want to show you to make these. Because when you have the right setup, I just had the right setup in the creek and I just went crazy with it, as I just didn't care that I chewed up length making all these little Dalton preforms. You know, it was just literally that one strike, perfect Dalton preform. Strike after strike after strike. There were several of those like that. I don't have any rock anymore. All my rock is gone. I mean, I have a few pieces of Knife River and this Burlington that a friend of mine sent to me. So I don't have a lot of choices to try to make the tools correctly the way I'd like to show you. I'm describing it the best I can. My advice is to not judge the video because I didn't really do it the way I wanted, but understand the concept and then go do that. Go try it on your own. Okay. This one might turn out to be one. It's a little wide. That's a great, another tool flake, but it's got too much curvature. I forgot till just now that for the Dalton flakes you need more of a punch flake, and you've got to set it up so that you need to take a punch flake to get the flake, and you don't want curvature in your blank. See, when you're setting up on a ridge and you're creating the platform and the isolation, the protrusion, whatever you want to call it, you have to be careful, as if you hit right on the ridge to take your back flake so to create a platform, it'll be too steep. You take one on each side of it and then nibble your way in to create exactly what you want. Not every time, but typically that's the way it works. You got to follow the rocks advice. Okay. So you might need to switch to a smaller hammerstone. Finally. Oh no. I just created a little step, right? My platform. Doggone it. Let's see. Will I get lucky? I don't know. Man. It's pretty stout looking. Something else to grind with here. This is a new hammerstone I got as a gift. I swear I remember picking this up in the Colorado River. At least the consistency feels the same, but I don't know for sure. Could have been one I gave away and then got loaned back to me, but I'll give it back when I'm done. It had a seam in it. I was hitting on it. I thought it was a little too soft, but it split away, and then it seems to be fine after that. Okay, I'm gonna try it. It's definitely exposed. You can see the dust on a flat ridge. Yep. Let me pause it. Work on it some more. It's too stout. Okay. I just ground on it a bunch. Right there. I could make a Dalton out of that. It's wider than I would like it to be, but the thickness is perfect. See that from there to there? You get rid of the bulb as you work this in. So you just start pressure flaking right now. Literally, you put this down. Maybe I'll just do it. My pressure flaking stick. I had to fix it. For you people that are interested in like all Aboriginal style napping, then pay attention to this part. So you drill a hole in this, and this is a tapered hole. I'm gonna half this, and I've got another stick that I'm gonna try to drill a hole in it with. So I'll learn something from that. But anyway, the stick. After you get the hole drilled, and you can see I've got the wood. It's thin right where it meets the antler, and it just gets a little thicker as it goes back. After you drill the hole, no rawhide in it, and you put the antler in it, and it'll split right away. You can use it, and it'll split, and you rotate it and use it, and it'll split again, and you'll split this thing all the way around, okay? Then you can take that antler out, get you some rawhide, wet it, wrap it. There's no secret to this. You just start with the end and then overlap it, and then just wrap, and then tuck it under 2 or 3 times, cut off the end, and you're good. Pull it really tight. Do not put the antler in for like 24 hours. After that, you put the antler in and you push it all the way, and you mash it in as hard as you want. It will not fail, even though all those cracks are in the stick. You can push on this literally almost as hard as you want. I mean, I've never had one fail. And when you need to take this out to change it, or maybe it's easier for you to resharpen it with it out, I don't know. I don't like to cut my rawhide when I'm abrading it, so I really protect it. Or what you do is you take it off. You just take it off, and then you take this out real easy. You don't need pliers or no special tool or anything, and then you put your new one in that's a little longer. After you wrap it, right, you do the wrapping the same way. Wet rawhide real tight, wait 24 hours, put your new one in, and you're good to go. All right. let's do some of this. I'm gonna do a little hammerstone percussion right on the end of that. I sure don't need that. I can't pressure flake it is what I mean. And if you're trying to replicate, don't worry about losing length, because if you want it to look right and you're worried about losing length and it doesn't look right in the end because of that, then you didn't really achieve the goal if you're trying to replicate. Okay. So nothing out of the ordinary to do a little bit of percussion to just straighten it up. I'm not going to do anything with this at all yet. So before we get started, let me say, typically, and you're going to hear this from some people who are in the know, on a finished Dalton, there's 4 sets of pressure flakes. That's what you can see, but you don't really know how many it took to get there, right? You know it took a minimum of 4 sets. Base to tip, base to tip, flip it over, base to tip, base to tip. But it might not be the right width, okay? This is the important part. You have a hafting element that you want to match. Maybe you want, like Folsom is very, very strict with their hafting element, like the width of the hafting part of the Folsoms are, I forget what, they're the same. Many of them are the same. So maybe it takes 5 passes of pressure flakes, or 6, or 10 to get to the width you want. This is a, you know, it's strict. This is really going to dull my pressure flaker. This is strict teaching, most likely. It's easy way to learn. Like Neanderthal making the so-called hand axes, right? You take a flake, then you flip it over, and you take a flake, and you flip it over, and you take a flake, and you just do that all the way around, or whatever. And that's a mindset that's taught, and I believe that whenever you give strict teaching like that, it allows people to learn faster, learn at a younger age, get more people to do it. I'm not going to try to throw flakes across this. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to. Pressure flaking really hurts me. I've kind of already demonstrated it. I really don't want to. You could also hammerstone this into a narrower pretty form and do pressure flaking from that. The ones I did came off a little narrower than this, and I only had to do like 5 to, I don't think I ever did more than 8. I don't even think I did that many sets. It's probably more like 6 or 7 was the most. This is already hurting, and I know I'm not going to be able to throw flakes across that bulb. So I want to demonstrate it. I'm just going to tell you how it's done. I'm sorry. Pressure flaking, that kind of pressure flaking, is really going to hurt me. And it'll take me a couple days to recover. So you keep pressure flaking. You build body just like you do with percussion as you pressure flake. So it's not just blind. And You baste a tip, flip it over, baste a tip, flip it over, baste a tip. Keep doing that until you get to the width that you want. Work your way up the tip. Throw flakes into the bulb whenever you can to try to thin it. Throw flakes, in this case, across the corner to try to thin this backside. Once you get it to the width you want, and you've already created your point as well, everything is done except two things. You gotta flute it or pressure flake it up the base, and then your hafting element, you gotta grind that in or pressure flake that in, whatever you're doing. So that's it. Once you get to that width, then you work here. You just keep pressure. It's the same thing. You don't work your way in, and then create a big flake that you're gonna flute like a Dalton fluted. They just end up that way, some of them, because the way they're set up. Or they just have these nice, perfect little blends like this, where it's perfectly blended, just a little ways up there, but the hafting part of that is perfect. It's not too thick, it's not all globby or nothing. Globby, is that a word? So you keep working your way in. You thin, no matter what, the hafting element has to be right. So you might lose length. I remember I lost length on some of them from the base because I needed to get rid of the bulb. You got to have that thinness there, okay? Then once you get that right, once you get the bottom part of the base done, you leave these dull. Don't make them sharp. Leave them dull as you come up. Your thin flakes should be in the bottom of that. That should be thin when you feel it. Then when you're done, I scrunched in the sides of these. I scrunched them in and ground it. I used my scruncher. This right here, go back on the last video and watch. Scrunch, 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 and then ground it, and it's done. I think it's the quickest way. Now, sure, you're going to end up with some preforms. I don't have another good one. You're going to have to make a preform out of it with a hammerstone before pressure flaking. But ideally, like I said, I was going to explain that some of these end up very crude. They're thick on the tip. They're hinged, flaked. They still got some percussion scars left on them. They're just making a bunch of, it might be crude looking, but it halves perfectly because they concentrate on that, and the edge is sharp. It does the work. That's it. So then you're done with the Dalton. It's 100% done. I hope that makes sense. I'd like to see a lot of you guys try it, and gals. Let me see if there's anything to take left on this. I guess I could keep setting it up and do some more. So, okay, I'm gonna take a flake there, right on that ridge, but I'm gonna flatten it out a little bit first. All right. trying to get something wider like that. And I hit on that ridge to expose this. And there's not a whole lot of preparation that needs to be done to that, but I don't want to just remove a corner. I want to try to make that into a tool flake. I could work on that chisel too. I was going to take that flake. I'll do that as well. What am I looking for? This. There. Let me try to scrunch it in. Yeah. It's beautifulness. Right there. It's sharp down there where that previous flake came off. I'd say when you get used to this, you learn when you need a glove and when you don't. But when I need a glove, I use a paleo glove. That's what I call it. Just take you a piece of leather and hold it in your hand. If you think it's one where you might get cut. I just barely hit that because that platform was set up just perfect. Oh, I felt something fly off. I guess it was this stuff down here. I got rid of the rest of that crack. It's a beautiful tool flake. And I said I was going to work on this, and for the sake of time, there was one flake here I wanted to take, right? Yeah. Spall size flake. Too wide for Dalton. Too thick. I'd like to make a pretty long chisel out of this. It won't be as long as this is, but it might be 5 inches or 5.5. We'll see. That's the back side where my hand is going to be, so I'm just making sure it's not sharp. And then, is this ready? Or am I gonna, not quite. Well, that's about the best I can get it. I'm just trying to move some of it out of the way. Little one's coming off. Where does that make contact? No. There's the tiniest, yeah, little, right there. That's where I need to hit. Gosh darn it. Didn't know that was there, right in the way. Well, let me try. Putting the handle up against the handle, that part sticking out up against my leg. This platform ain't quite right, but I'm going to try to make it work. There. I broke it though, dang it. I was afraid I was going to hit it too hard. It was exactly... Golly, that was... That's my Dalton. One of them. Sucks I broke it. That was fun. Should I try to take another one? 47 minutes or two. Let's set them up. All right. Man, that looks really good, I think. Oh, need the fine control when you're doing that to try to get that platform set up just right. And this one looks pretty good. So far, I think I like it. Giving it a good grind underneath, rolling the edge like I talked about in my advanced techniques hammerstone video. Rolling the edge is the same thing as taking like a carborundum grinder and giving it a grind on the underneath side to kind of expose your platform a little bit and lift it out so you don't hit the edge. You hit a little higher than the edge. All right. That's pretty thin. Ooh, that might. Trying to remove this potential. I don't want it to. I don't want to ruin it. Hopefully that'll work and won't go too deep. Strike along that, hitting right there. With my hammer stone, I'm going to put this in the palm of my hand. Like that. I'm going to hold my finger out there on the end of that. And then hit this. I don't have any support under the blade. I don't like that. Under the, I like to put my finger under there where I'm going to hit it. Okay, here we go. Perfect. To me. So, there's another Dalton. If it has a little bit of curvature in it, you just lose a little bit of length. Then you can take care of that. You work one side more than the other side. Well, there's one more I could take there, but I just realized I forgot that I'm supposed to be making a chisel out of this, and I know I wanted to take the one flake and leave the rest alone so I'd have the thickness to get length, and now I've lost it. So anyway, I'm going to stop the video right there. I hope you enjoyed it.